they're a top 5 car. So these guys made adjustments and they've worked on it, but they've not made any progress.
But if this track does cool down, things can still come these guys' way if it cools down.
The racetrack comes to them instead of them having to go to the racetrack. And we saw that happen with Harvick over at Charlotte. Wasn't even in a race the first part of the race when the sun was out. As soon as it got cloudy or as soon as the sun went down, he goes to the front and has another great top 5 run.
It has been his motto all season long, talking about Harvick being able to drive through the field. If they get to the front, they're likely going to be racing with Jimmie Johnson. He's had no issues tonight, and he continues to lead.
NASCAR Sprint Cup racing from Chicago on TNT is brought to you by Progressive, making it easier to buy car insurance. By Coca-Cola, open a Coke and enjoy the race. By Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. By Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. And by Toyota.
50 miles south of downtown Chicago, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing for the 19th time in 2010. Jimmie Johnson, the race leader, and the man moving behind him, Juan Pablo Montoya. While we were at break, he was able to drive around Tony Stewart and go to the 8th position, and now he's up to 7th as he squeezes around Greg Biffle.
Yeah, I mean, and he went by the 14 car just a lap ago and left him. So he's found something on the racetrack that is working for him.
82 of 267 laps complete. And Larry, I'm sure these crew chiefs starting to think about strategy. What are you looking at?
Well, I think they're mainly starting to think about changes. Now, I looked at the weather today, and it's supposed to cool down about 15 degrees from the start of this 400-mile race to the end. Now, this is the radiator opening where air flows through here to get to the radiator to cool the fins where the water flows through the radiator. Now, as the ambient temperature cools down, you don't need as much airflow through here. So what these guys may do is add tape to this. Now, one thing you can do is add tape just like this. What that will do, that helps the straightaway speed. It puts less airflow through this area, but the biggest thing it'll help it do, it helps the front downforce, the pressure on the nose of the car. Now, the reason I did it here on the left side and left side only, this is the corner you want to plant. If you get this corner here nailed down, it really helps that car to turn through these 18 degrees of banking.
Thank you, Larry. And that splitter, a big subject of conversation here during the practice sessions yesterday as teams tried to get their cars dialed in. And as rough as this racetrack has gotten, it's pretty easy to get that splitter roughed up because you do bounce around quite a bit here.
And they've got them right down on the racetrack. You can especially see it when they go through the corners. They're basically dragging through the corners.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. jumped into the top 12 in points with that 4th place finish last week at Daytona. Not been great for him here tonight. He's 22nd, trying to get around Ryan Newman.
And he's trying a lot of places on the racetrack. You see Newman, and you see the 88, and you see the 29 of Kevin Harvick. These guys have kind of been hung together with magnets or whatever ever since they dropped the green flag.
And you saw the 39 there. When the 88 was on the high side, Newman's car looks pretty loose. He was down there in the middle of 1 and 2. And see it again? Yeah. That car is loose right there. So the 39 is going to be, he's going to be slipping back. He's wanting some grip there. But Junior, you look on the steering wheel, he's fairly comfortable. He's got the, he's not jacking with the wheel. If you remember how Carl Edwards was really going way to the right, to the left, he's tugging on it, but he's not working it. The car is working fairly good for Junior right there.
And you hear him pick up the throttle, and it goes pretty good. Phil?
Yeah, Dale Jr. was reporting that his car is really bad right now. He said it's hopping and popping all over the track. He said it's really, really loose up off the corner, is what he's told Lance McGrew.
Well, it sure doesn't look it by the steering wheel. I mean, he hasn't turned that wheel to the right once.
Yeah, by the steering wheel and by the throttle. You can hear the throttle there. He feathers back into it pretty good and seems to be in the gas pretty hard coming up, Paul.
Jimmie Johnson's led every lap tonight, 86 complete. We'll see his drivers on pit road for green flag stops when we return. Green flag pit stops underway at Chicago. Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch have all been on the pit lane. Ryan Newman making his stop now. You see Casey Kane has been in, and David Rudiman in as well, Phil.
David Rudiman comes in from the 4th position. He said the car is better now, the balance is better. Just want to take a little bit of air out of both front tires for the 00, Matt.
And the 14 of Tony Stewart pulls into his box. Watch, he'll pull a little closer to the wall to help the Jackman out on this stop. Chassis adjustment for Stewart. The car was just getting tighter and tighter as the run wore on. They're waiting for about another 40 minutes. When that sun goes down, Ralph, the track will change.
It's going to be just a small air pressure adjustment for the 56 of Martin Truex, a half pound out of the left rear. He was having trouble getting the gas to the ground as he's coming out of 3 and 4. He talked about it with his crew chief, Pat Tryson. They finally made a decision. That's what they decided to do. Matt, 4 tires and fuel, he's away.
Denny Hamlin making his pit stop, and here's Jimmy Johnson. The last time around, he was going to come down pit lane, but he missed pit road. He will make his stop at lap 94. Gordon coming in as well. Let's go to Marty Snyder.
Jeff Gordon said, I don't want a balance change. I just want a little bit more rear grip. They're going to go down on the track bar once again. 1 full round for Jeff Gordon trying to get that rear grip. Matt.
One, and McMurray tried staying out to lead a lap. Both he and the 48 of Johnson on pit road. The 48 was edgy at the beginning of that run. Chassis adjustment already completed. Meanwhile, the 1 and McMurray, he said his car was just way too tight on that run.
Right around lap 90 when this cycle of stops began.
And the 1's your leader. Because the 48 missed pit road. Let's see if we can see the 48 when he comes down. He misses it fairly dramatic. He is all but sideways here. Here he is trying to get down pit road on his first attempt. As he comes around, look at this thing.
Rear brake, way too much rear brake.
So much rear brake. When he jumped on that thing, he was sideways. He has to go again. So everything that he had over the 1 car, he lost right there. And when they come down pit road, now as it cycles through, the 1 car becomes your leader.
And see, and when you're turning like that, you've got too much rear brake. It's exactly what happens. The car just jumps sideways.
And we saw it last week at Daytona. Those guys run their brakes, and when they started down pit road, they would almost adjust their brakes so they could get on pit road and then readjust their brakes while on the racetrack. As he started down, it's hard to explain to somebody with a road car how drastic this is and how much you can adjust the way a car drives just by turning that knob and setting the front end and setting the weight of the car on the front tires, or having those rears lock up, just like on a bicycle. When you slam on the brakes on a bicycle when you were a kid and the rear would slide out from under you. That's what that feels like.
And that cost Jimmy, that right there cost him about 6 or 7 seconds on the racetrack. That one little miscue.
The lead for Jimmy Johnson was 2.2 seconds prior to him missing pit road. He rides 3rd right now. Jamie McMurray is the race leader. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Jamie McMurray continues to lead the Lifelock.com 400 at Chicago, and while we were away, he put Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch 1 lap down.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Harvick's car is wicked loose right now. That thing is all over the racetrack.
Back in the 6th position, Carl Edwards. He has looked good here this evening, and with that, we bring you tonight's Aflac Trivia question. Aflac Insurance can help cover out-of-pocket expenses that major medical insurance does not. Now the question, the winning driver of each Sprint Cup Series race receives 185 points. In what other ways can a driver receive points?
You want the answer now?
No, we don't want the answer now. Where's that tape Larry was working with down there at the torque car earlier?
I thought this was a true and false question.
Well, we know multiple choice is the only thing that works for Kyle.
Yes.
Talked about the fact that Jamie McMurray was able to go around both Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick. You see these two on track running 27th and 28th.
I'm telling you, man, that 29 car is as bad as it gets when you look at a race car on a mile-and-a-half racetrack being loose.
Here's how you get extra points. If 185 for winning, you get extra points for driving. for driving your butt off like Kevin Harvick is doing right now, because he is up on the wheel left and right all over that steering wheel.
What's he saying about it, Phil?
Adam, he's saying 3 words: sideways, sideways, sideways. That's all Kevin Harvick has said, Ralph.
Well, Kurt Busch said, I want a major change. This thing is really loose. So they did wedge, track bar, air pressure adjustment, 4